All right, I'd like to call the Portsmouth Cable Television and Communication Commission meeting to order. I'm hoping Ash will be with us. I don't know. Gabriel saw that. So yeah, okay. But yeah, it's good that we have that fourth member. Okay, making it happen. All right. Let's see, as far as approval of
the minutes, Suzanne neglected to take her handwritten notes and actually put them into formal typed notes and circulate it. So if my suggestion is we just table that item, and I'll make sure I take my handwritten notes and put them in formal minute form for your approval for the next meeting.
okay. Yeah. So I guess we'll move on to item 3 and proposed changes to the mission of the Cable Commission.
I can provide an update from the last city council meeting. So the city council has passed first reading of the changes to the Cable Commission's mission. Because there were a number of ordinances coming through at the same time, they scheduled the public hearing and second reading for the first city council meeting in January. And typically, at second reading and public hearing, there's a small, brief, either presentation or someone speaks to the change. So I think if one of you would like to be available to speak briefly to that change, that would be good to have someone there for the meeting.
Sure, happy to do it. Happy to, if we can work something together. We'll have it probably. Well, I assume we would have one more meeting before then, so we could work. Perhaps put some things together real quick. Or I don't know. Thoughts?
Agreed, yeah, I think we should definitely be there, I mean, or to be there.
Right. Yeah, I would love to be there. We'll see.
Yeah.
Keep my butt there.
When are the council meetings typically?
They start at 7 o'clock.
PM,
Yes.
okay,
And I believe it's on January 9th, but I will send you a confirming email or maybe an appointment. That way you can just kind of click on it, put it on your calendar. I will say at the first reading, was the mayor commented that he thought this was a good evolution for the commission and appreciated the attention to the cellular issue in particular. So expect you will have a continued, favorable response. Just may have some questions first. So that's good. And it was only because we had we had a couple of other ordinances come through that needed to get wrapped up before year end. And okay. Is it possible to change?
Sorry, don't.
Yeah, I don't, and I didn't bring my laptop down, although I could probably hold them off. So it's just a broadening of the mission to include really all forms of delivery of broadband. And that is really the major change. So that would allow the Cable Commission to more formally do what it has been doing somewhat informally, which is traveling a bit beyond the traditional scope of the franchise agreement with Comcast to include, and it's a cable television aspect to really look at internet delivery in all its modalities and
Including cellular.
including cellular. So and that when the agenda is published for the City of Portsmouth City Council, it will have the text of the changes in that packet. So, and it's actually probably already online from when they considered it at the last meeting for first reading. It would have also been in there as a red line change.
Okay, you all set? On, okay. We're gonna push, if you don't mind, we're gonna push since we have an actual line. It's several actually. We're gonna take item 4 and we're gonna push it to the bottom just because that's will be out of open meeting. So what we at that point we'll push 5 and 6 up to the top of that. So, so we'll jump past 4 to 5, which is cellular coverage.
So we were able to schedule a meeting with Verizon. Included a number of city staff, along with Jason was able to attend on behalf of the Cable Commission. I attended as part of the meeting. Our Chief Information Officer, Patricia Ainsworth, along with Alan Brady, our technical director, and probably we have 4 or 5 people from Verizon on the call, and we discussed generally with them our experience of cellular coverage and areas where we had concerns in terms of that coverage. They acknowledged those concerns and understood that there were places that needed attention. They did provide a summary of some of the work that they have been doing to try and address that. That included some rooftop cell sites that were installed in 2021, 5 small cells on poles in 2021, 2022. They, hit some snags in their some of their deployment, but they do have additional projects online. They recently added capacity near the DPW site out on Beverly Hill Road. They're looking at a new macro cell. They're hoping the Newcastle area, which will help cover part of town. They are looking at another site off of Route 1, still under construction, not guaranteed that it will deliver everything. There may be some factors that delay or disrupt the timeline. There are little sensitive. We do, but I would prefer to address that. They were careful about the confidentiality of some of the negotiations, so that's why I'm kind of speaking in somewhat generalities for purposes of a public meeting. But you could say there's an acknowledgement that they are aware of some of the deficiencies and have a number of projects scheduled in the pipeline.
But some of that discussion was in confidence so that we can provide it to the public.
Correct. They are also looking at 5G C-band deployment, but don't have, thank you. But don't yet have an ETA and kind of further detail to be provided. They did talk and they have worked with the city about enterprise network extenders that we can use inside some of our city buildings and facilities. They did help us out at Community Campus recently. After our acquisition, we discovered how poor the signal was, and we're able to work with Verizon successfully to provide better service out there through an extender, and that helped not only the city and all its guests, but also the tenants, the nonprofit tenants out there who rely on that as well.
As well as, there are also fields out there that have been recently put in, which I'm sure that parents or people attending these, whatever, that will be something they'll appreciate as well.
Yep. They did also suggest that if residents have challenges inside their homes, they can try Wi-Fi calling. So they were trying to be very kind of helpful in terms of workarounds, if you will, while infrastructure is built out. And we can talk a little bit more to that, but I think those are kind of like the general kind of public pieces that we can generally share.
So did you share, so I refrained from sharing the materials I received afterwards because of our constraints. Did you share it with them?
Not with the committee members yet. I figured we could do that. Not public, we can talk a little more in detail about the.
Right, what I feel like I could share is number one, based on the number of people that attended and the attitudes there, they were very anxious to make sure that we knew that they were addressing the problems. There was a level of attention that frankly surprised me.
Yeah, I have to say, like, when you hear the number of attendees, it's like, wow, okay. And, it's The change in scope was something I have to admit the first time. It's like, all right, you know, I'm happy to open it up. Not sure how useful it's going to be, but now I'm hearing these ideas, and suddenly I'm really like hot on the idea, and I think it was a great idea. You
But I'll
suggested
be
it.
honest, though, if you don't mind me interrupting,
Yeah.
just to say, I think it's because we have the CIO who was there for the city of Portsmouth, you know, I think there was some other attractions for them to
Yes.
maintain relationships, but yes, they did acknowledge, they were they seemed pleased that we were involved, and the only thing I had said to them was, we're here not as oversight, but it's help us get problems out of your budget. They seem to indicate that the majority of the problems had to do more with permitting land and acquisition, things along those lines, as opposed to any barriers the city might put in place through the neighborhoods, you know, things like restrictions, that didn't come up. It had more to do with just getting through the permitting process and buildings and securing access. I feel like I could share that I brought up specifically the hospital as being a very strange place right near I-95 and not have, and they said they've already installed something there. They just had to point it better, and that was going to be happening, I think, in the next 30 days. They're going to redirect, and that should cover that area where the hospital is more effectively at that point. And as already mentioned, they've got a lot of other projects, but I will say the majority of the improvements are going to be based on what they were discussing. So, the other thing though that they mentioned, we asked them to send materials on that, was the extender program that they have for buildings is not related just to the city. They'd be willing to offer that to anybody if they would reach out to them. So if people contact us about problems in their own home, we could point them to them and possibly other providers and say you should contact them, and they might be able to provide. I don't know if she indicated at reduced or free costs, basically interior boosters, whatever.
Was not in that portion.
Yeah, that's right. You had left at that point, and she was supposed to give us, I think, in this material with some contact information. We can direct them
I can
to
ask.
say, if you're having trouble, so if we get contacted by a citizen that says, look, I want to improve my service in my home because, you know, I need food.
Right.
They have programs to help.
And I think, you know, with our change in scope, I look at this as a positive, as an opportunity for us to provide the public with an easy conduit so that they, not only that, and a clearinghouse as well for information, because obviously it's important for them to know this, and maybe it's difficult for the providers to create this or put the information out there in a way that is accessible to people, but is also like, you know, available. And then maybe what we can, again, having something similar to what we do now as far as cable TV, that we just provide a faster connection between the end user and the provider. Absolutely. So I'm definitely kind of excited about this. It's definitely a great suggestion, and I think we'll continue to carry it. It's looking like it's going to happen.
So I guess my question next would be, do we have any other providers teed up, or when it comes to the interest of the CIO of Portsmouth and the, I'm sorry, the other official that was there? Did we have anything else lined up with the next set of providers, or is it going to be up to us to kind of drive that?
I do not believe there's anything else set up because we were mostly hearing issues of concern regarding that provider, but I think if there is interest, then tell me which provider and I will reach out to our team.
Was it Ash, or I don't know if you're there, are you the one that had you didn't have Verizon, you have another service, right?
I understand, yeah.
I have yes, hi everyone. I have AT&T.
And I'm on AT&T. We're on AT&T and you experience problems still. So I would say AT&T would be our next one.
Yeah.
Different.
Oh, no, I mean, to be honest, I have AT&T as well, but I generally, my use patterns are such that I really haven't, I don't use it outside Wi-Fi areas most of the time too, or I'm in areas where I haven't seen any coverage issues, but that doesn't mean there aren't any. And I think, again, it's difficult when, you know, you hear about these one things and two things from people, but if we can, as a group, as a committee, sort of collect up this information, we can then at that point, I guess, better target the information for people as well as for the providers. So, but I agree. I think that, and I hate to say it, but you make a very valid point that the reason we got them here, Verizon, was because we had some heavy hitters that were willing to sort of show up to the meeting as well. And I think that might help if we can do That again.
But are those city officials interested? I mean, their main contracts with Verizon, right? I mean, servicing the city.
We're interested in serving.
No, I meant as
Help
far
us
as
to-
they had specific issues with city services using Verizon as
We
the
did.
provider, right?
We did, but they're aware that, you know, part of what we do is exactly as we're talking about here, which is we can sometimes facilitate, get people's attention. Coordinate those meetings, because sometimes that's what it is, it's getting all the right people in the room or on the Zoom. To say, what can we do, what's your plan, because this is what we're hearing and seeing, so. I'm happy to work with city staff, I'm sure they'd be more than willing to see if we can shake down a similar meeting.
And who knows, you know, once January comes through and our chart has indeed changed, our scope is indeed officially changed, we might be able to draw as well, but I would just really appreciate if there's anything we can do without burning any bridges.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a very useful meeting. I think they were solution oriented, wanted to update us, and were willing to hear kind of what our experience was, both from a municipal perspective and what we're hearing from residents and businesses. So I thought it was a very good meeting, and I thought it did show that at least they've got projects in the pipeline, and whether they deliver them fast enough, we'll see, but that's the thing, we now kind of have a better understanding of what their schedule looks like. So that if we revisit this, you know, in 9 months to say, well,
How's that?
how's it going? You know, I think now we've got a baseline.
I'll also show that they seem very well aware of what the product areas were, even before we drew attention. They know. So I don't think so. What's that?
Wishful thinking, but you know,
Right,
So,
yeah,
right.
so I mean. Yeah, that's all I can
Yeah.
say.
Okay,
So
I'll
we
put on
need
the
to make
list.
a motion to ask that we go ahead and ask the city to help us with.
I think the motion would be
Sure.
nice, because that will kind of indicate the interest of this committee and explore, continuing to communicate on this.
sure.
So I would move that we ask the city's help to secure a meeting with AT&T for the same purposes.
Sure, yeah, I'll second.
Okay.
As far as a vote. Okay. Ash, are you cool with that?
I'm cold. Yep, good with that.
Okay.
Okay, and normally they're gonna-
Well, special privilege, because I have the only Verizon right here.
I have a-
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, and hey, Ash, just in general, like, you know, please feel free to chime in as you need to.
Yep,
Or
yep, will do. Yeah,
All right.
thanks.
All right, so we're all set with next episode, we'll jump down. Other business?
I do not have anything further to add. I think we'll talk in non-public about our Comcast, you know, where we are in that conversation. This might be the time if we have folks on Zoom who have an interest in commenting on something, or if there's an issue they want to bring to the committee's attention. This would be-
Okay, so I guess, you know, do either Ms. Ward or Mr. Porter. Partner, start. Please just feel free to chime in.
Okay,
Yes, we can hear you.
Barbara?
no, we just wanted to listen and find out what's going on at this point.
Okay. So you have no additional business, okay. Mr. Cordner? Once, oh, hello,
Hello?
yes, hi, how are you?
How you doing? Yeah, we were just planning to listen and see what's up.
Sure, no problems. Just wanted to give you the opportunity if there's anything in particular you want to bring up, but we're happy to have you. Thank you for attending.
Thank you so much.
And I think I'm correct. You're both here on maybe behalf of, or you both have work with PPM TV, correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Great.
The local public access station.
Yes.
Right, gotcha.
Right.
Okay, so we could move on to, back to, item four, which case we would want to,
Close the public portion of the meeting. So,
So I make a motion that we go into or private session to discuss the chart.
yeah, all right, I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, all right,
okay, Ash, I assume you're a yes to moving into non-public?
Yes, I'm good. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Barbara and Chad if you could drop off the Zoom, then I won't have to kick you out. Since we're going into non-public.
thanks.
Thank you so much.
Stop.
At the door, no one leaves.
Awesome.